I keep playing with new features on this. I kind of like this little countdown timer thing. So just waiting for the countdown timer to hit 0 and we will get started. Good evening, everyone. Futures gapping up, looking like a busy week. All right, it's after 7. That's good enough. So welcome, everyone. Let me get, whoops, this thing's going to play a buzzer. There we go. Got that out of the way. So welcome, everyone, to Sunday Night YouTube Live. Got a lot to go over. Going to get right into it. So starting at the top, S&P 500 up 0.4% on the week last week. NASDAQ up 0.61%. And the IWM index was one of the few indexes in the red, down 0.3%. Inflation fears continued to cool after both the CPI and PPI came in lower than expected. You guys know, if you watched the stream for a while, you know how bullish I am. Tariffs are great for America. They're great for the economy. I've said that. I think we're like, what are we, like 16, 20 weeks into the Sunday Night YouTube? And you can go back to the very first one. I mean, I think we started, I think this might be like roughly I think I counted a couple weeks ago and it was 16. So this might be like the 18th week. And I have been very consistent on my opinion on tariffs being very bullish for the economy and the stock market and the American people. Don't believe the media. They will lie to you every day and spread FUD. Again, record number of inflows on collections on tariffs, which are just going to continue to go up. But we've talked about that every week. Just keep up with them, man. Break their backs, in my opinion. And that is the people that have, the countries that have been getting a free ride on America for about the last 50 years. Fed officials hinted at a potential pause on rates. I think they may do a cut before September, but we'll see. Technology led the market again. Obviously, Microsoft and NVIDIA both closed near all-time highs after breaking out. Oil continued to climb on renewed Mideast tensions, and then earnings season starting to kick off. I mentioned this account a lot. Not affiliated with them at all, but actually, whoops, let me do this. Let me get it. Just a great free resource. I've said many times, eWhispers, I don't even know who runs the account. I don't know who does it, but just a great free resource. 99% of the financial content on X is worthless, but eWhispers, especially during earnings season, just a great resource. I mean, I love their infographics. Actually, let me share my screen again here. Like this simple infographic, just very handy. And they do a lot of work to just really give you the most actionable earnings, because, as we head into earnings seasons, there's days there might be 500 stocks with earnings. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go through all 500. What I like is eWhispers really narrows it down to the ones that actually move, I guess is the way I would put it. Like stocks that have, made big moves, whether in the past or historically. So I would give them a follow. Again, I don't even know who runs the account. I don't subscribe. I just use the free source. But it's, they're a good follow really anytime. They post good links and stuff. But especially during earnings season, I mean, I go to that account daily, basically. So we're going into the heat of it. Got a bunch on Monday all week long. Mostly the big names, really only. So for those of you that are wondering, really only options plays if you've got a small account. All of the lower priced earnings plays will report later. But, again, if you trade options, definitely follow e-whispers. And remember, the beauty of options is even with a small account, you can trade the big names. Got to know what you're doing. I mean, it's the thing with trading options is it's really no different than penny stocks at the end of the day. I mean, if you trade penny stocks with no risk management, no pattern recognition, no ability to do technical analysis, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. But, if you do have, the ability to do technical and fundamental analysis, the ability to do pattern recognition, the ability to have risk management, then options are great. Just don't do it. Don't even foray into options until you've got, a good process and methodology. And I always recommend starting with penny stocks. I mean, if you're wondering where to start, the very first place you should always start, in my opinion, is penny stocks, because you don't need any special knowledge. You don't have to understand options expiration and which contract to pick, etc. The thing with penny stocks, you buy a stock at $1, hopefully you sell it at $1.20. It's just really easy. Buy, sell. But I think it's a great way, not great, it's the best way to learn all the rules and learn all the methodology, because all these penny stocks that we trade, very liquid. You can trade them in any brokerage account. You can easily get in and out, etc. But anyway, big week for earnings. Week after we'll be busy as well. We're kicking it off. So just going over the watch list real quick. Let me grab a drink. Speaking of links, make sure you get the watch list. I post it pretty much every week. At least I try to post it every week. So we got let me run through them. We got TELO, was a runner in after hours and then kind of fell apart at the open. But what I like about TELO is it actually, let me share my screen again. There we go. What I like about TELO is it held that lower Oracle support level. So you can see how that 190, we'll call it 2, that 2 level was resistance on Thursday night, ended up blowing through that, did a beautiful RCT. And I'm going to talk a lot about RCTs tonight, guys, for several reasons. Notice that RCT in after hours on Thursday night, straight vertical stock, up more than 50%, put in a red candle, right there it is, first red candle after the parabolic move. Then later that night, broke that candle and went from $1.89 to $3. Now that was Thursday night. I want to talk about tomorrow. What I like about it is that resistance level of 2 became support. Geez, I got the hiccups. Let me grab another drink. So, and you'll see that with the Oracle support and resistance levels a lot, okay? It struggled with 2, then busted it, and then after the pullback, held that 2 level. And then LMFA, very choppy, but spiked into the close. And look at that candle. The biggest reason that LMFA was on the watch list, or is on the watch list, is look at that candle right there at basically 3 p.m. I mean, that's somebody that just got absolutely smoked on the short side. I mean, there was no reason. LMFA was a decent stock, okay, but it's just kind of chopping around, not doing much. And then look at that candle. That is someone getting smoked, a margin call, a forced cover on a trade. So that being said, it held above that level as well. So very interesting looking at LMFA into tomorrow as well. And I mean, there's no good explanation for that candle other than that move. I thought you swore off talking about RCTs. No, I mean, JZack only on the morning webinar. I mean, I trade RCTs literally every day. I mean, when I say, when I mentioned not talking about them, it's just people that refuse to learn the pattern anymore. I mean, it's like the easiest pattern in the world to trade, but people just refuse to learn it. I don't know why. like especially with pre-market trading. I'll come back to that. It is by far and above the easiest pattern to see and trade, but every day people just refuse to learn it. And I don't understand. But it's kind of like the Ed Sykota quote. You know, Ed Sykota is known for saying, my favorite Ed Sykota quote is, where is it? This is the average trader. Win or lose, everyone gets what they want out of the market. Some people seem to like to lose, so they win by losing money. That's the normal trader. And that's especially people that simply refuse to learn the simplest pattern in the world, the RCT, because it pays out literally almost every day. I don't know about, at least 4 out of 5 days. Last week, we had 5 amazing RCTs between 7 to 9 a.m. And what I love about it is especially, those of you that are busy, like if you have to leave for work, you can literally trade RCTs every single day and then leave for work. That's why it's maddening to me that people simply refuse to learn this pattern. Like, think about the power of that. How many of you guys like have to leave for work at like 8:30, or you have to be, on the clock at 9? Like, actually, like how many have to be on the clock at 9 a.m.? Actually, I'll wait for some answers. Like, if that's you, the RCT, like 99% of them happen before 9 a.m. Like, you could literally trade the easiest pattern, the most reliable pattern, and still get to work on time, like every day. But anyway, just answering J-Zach's question. So LMFA, we went over. IXHL, nice all-day grind, looking to break out above. So I'm looking for basically a dip and a retest on IXHL. And then CYCC, did sell off late day, but just a beautiful short squeeze. Those of you that get the Squeeze Master alerts, where is Squeeze? Where you at, Squeeze Master? There you are. So weekly squeeze report. So a lot of you guys want to know how to trade short squeezes. I would tell you to get Squeeze Master Pro. So I alerted 2 stocks Thursday night with the exact buy price. BZAI was a pretty good spiker early in the day. And then the backup idea was CYCC. So Thursday night squeeze report. So Thursday night at about 6 p.m. Eastern, I laid out the short squeeze. The night before, using the scan, using the short squeeze methodology. Remember, a lot of people always want to know, how do I know how to spot squeezes? Remember, for the first decade of my trading career, until 2016, I was 95% a short seller. So I know what a squeeze is. Now, when people ask why I quit short selling, it's because the market completely changed. We're talking the first decade of my career was what I call the Obama era. Okay. During the Obama era, we shorted everything. Like that first 10 years of my trading career, every stock tanked. We had the banking crisis, we had the housing crisis, Bear Stearns goes bankrupt, Lehman Brothers goes bankrupt, GM goes bankrupt, Chrysler goes bankrupt, hundreds, maybe thousands of banks failed. So that first decade of my trading career, completely different market where we shorted everything. I shorted everything. Tim Sykes shorted everything. Like everybody was short buys. Then in 2016, that changed and we flipped the script and started trading the squeeze side. So CYCC, entry of $9 a share. That entry price hit at about 10:30 a.m. and the stock went to 18. So by recognizing the squeeze, you would have known to buy. So CYCC hit the squeeze point laid out Thursday night at 10:30 Friday and went from the entry of 9 to 18. So again, you can see how it played out. So, but that being said, for tomorrow, I really like the fact that this held above the lower Oracle support level. So it's going to explode if this thing can break 13. So we went over TELO, LMFA, IXHL, and CYCC. And then the last one is STEM. This is a textbook week open red to green. So STEM is set up for a textbook warg. So this thing, I mean, when you get that all day grind, so a lot of you guys, I published a short guide on the week open red to green setup. Hopefully you guys all got that. I published it. I remember those of you that have my ebook. Okay, my ebook has all the patterns in it, but I also, so many people were asking about the week open red to green pattern specifically. So I just published a guide, I think 2 weeks ago. Hopefully all of you guys got that. But when you look at STEM, you know, a mid-cap price and just that all-day grind, setting up for an absolute beautiful week open red to green, which it basically closed at 1350. So we're looking for a gap down and retest on that. So that's the watch list. Let me jump back to my agenda and see what else I got. So we went over, let me get back. Where's my agenda? There it is. So we went over STEM. We went over the full watch list. And then we're going into earnings season. We got 150 S&P 500 companies reporting next week. Big banks have beat the estimates. Tesla has earnings Wednesday. Definitely have an eye on that. And then Microsoft, Meta, and Google next week. So we got Microsoft, Meta, and Google the week after. And I think that's about it. So I have, speaking of RCTs. So let me get a link, guys. I've got a webinar at 8 p.m. Eastern, if you guys are interested. So a lot of you guys are asking how to trade the RCT, how to detect the RCT, etc. So I'm going to be doing a webinar at 8 p.m. Eastern going over the RCT algo. It's a free webinar. If you want to check it out, be there, okay? But let me just go over, you know, a lot of you guys know every Sunday night, people ask, you know, Tim, what should I look for tomorrow? And how do I end pretty much every Sunday night live stream? I tell people, I think pretty much every night, I'm like between 7 and 9 a.m., look for the RCT. And we already talked about the fact that it's really beneficial, especially if you have to leave for work, okay? But let me just go over last week because I want to prove this point to you. Because on Monday, we had, where's my notes? We had a RCT in pre on SQFT. So SQFT on Monday had an entry of 1176 and went up 95% from there. So so you guys can follow along on these charts. So hopefully you guys have your charts. SQFT on Monday, 1176 entry. It hit that entry, went up 95%. Then on Tuesday, XAGE, again, in pre-market on XAGE, of an entry price of $6.72. That one went 23% above the entry and hit the goal. Then Wednesday, NUWE. Are you guys writing all these tickers down? Okay. NUWE, Wednesday. entry price of $17.19. It went up 44% from the RCT entry. That was Wednesday. Thursday, VLCN entry of $20.98, and it went up $20.98. It went up, it kissed for a second, kissed almost 60 in pre-market. So it went up over 100% on Thursday, VLCN. And then Friday, we had another RCT on CYCC. So there was a squeeze on Friday on CYCC, and there was an RCT. Okay. So every single day last week, okay, hopefully you guys wrote those tickers down. So let me go through them again. Monday, write this down. SQFT, pre-market entry of 1176. Tuesday, XAGE, pre-market entry of $6.72. Wednesday, NUWE, $17.91. Thursday, VLCN, $20.98 entry. And then Friday on CYCC, there was another RCT. So that was 5 days in a row where there was a big gainer that followed the RCT pattern. So there you go, guys. So speaking of that, if you want to know more about the RCT pattern, I'm also doing a 7 a.m. live webinar. 7 a.m. live webinar tomorrow morning for members of the morning income algorithm program. We'll trade RCTs together live. So if you want to attend that webinar, going all over the RCT, I put the link in chat. So I got to get around for that. I got to get ready for that. Feel free to join if you want more. Like what I'm going to talk about a lot on the webinar is a lot of people, like they wonder why the RCT is so effective. Like, and I'm going to talk about two things. Number one, the RCT is going to, remember, we're going to 22-hour trading. We're going to 22-hour trading. So think about it. Pre-market is going to get way longer. And these are the two things. So why is the RCT going to get even hotter? One, two, most importantly, no volatility halts in pre. So when people ask, why is the RCT so effective? It's number one, I just wish they would learn the pattern. But one of the big mechanics of it is there are no volatility halts in extended hours. So the reason these stocks follow this pattern day in and day out, is because there's no volatility halts in extended hours. So these stocks are free to trade. They're free to trade freely. Okay. So once the market opens, a lot of you guys know it can be really frustrating because you see one of these stocks moving, it halts, unhalts for 10 seconds, halts again, unhalts for 10 seconds, halts again. And it's almost impossible to get in some of them because of all of these halts. And, you know, because it's just like you just can't even get in. And then if you manage to get in, you can't get out because then it starts halting to the downside. So the point is, the reason I'm doing that 8 p.m. webinar and the link is in chat, is the RCT is already a game changer, but pre-market and after hours are about to get extended. And that gives us more opportunity to trade these parabolic stocks using the RCT and more time not having to deal with the freaking volatility halts. So like a lot of you guys know that day in and day out, I'm like, if you can find an edge, trade that edge, and basically using these in extended hours gives us an edge. And what I love about it is for many of you that have day jobs, like you can literally be done before the day even begins. So that being said, I showed you all 5 RCTs from this week. Every Sunday night, people ask what to look for tomorrow. Every morning, I'm like, RCTs from 7 to 9 a.m. So tomorrow morning, I will be live with members of the Morning Income Algorithm using the algo. Okay, I have an algo that detects RCTs and gives you buy and sell prices. Okay, so that being said, I got to run. I got to start that webinar in half an hour. And all of you that already have the RCT algo, I'll be live on the members dashboard 7 a.m. tomorrow. Speaking of that, if you have STT Elite, let me give you the full schedule tomorrow if you have STT Elite. Some of you guys have STT Elite. So webinar schedule Monday, 7 a.m. So that took a while to type up. Tomorrow in StocksToTrade Elite, my flagship mentoring program, starting at 7 a.m. I'm live. Then 8:30 pre-market prep, 9 a.m. Elite live trading only for Elite members. Bryce Tui at 10:30 Eastern. I'm back at noon. Caleb Hort. Oh, and then I forgot Matt Monaco. So I'm live at noon, Caleb Horst at 2:30, Matt Monaco after the market close. Then I'm talking swing trade stocks using the Iris AI at 6 p.m. And then at 6:30 p.m., Iris options trades with Ben Sturgill. So that being said, guys, let me give you the link to the 8 p.m. webinar one more time. Where is it? If you're curious about the RCT, be there. Whoops, can I cut and paste? I can't cut and paste. Okay, I'll just post it again. I can't seem to cut and paste. Copy link. And 8 p.m. RCT tour and education webinar. All right, guys, I got to run. Have a great night.